Running my business has actually helped me in motherhood, just being okay with uncertainty, but also believing in yourself.
What's the difference between Pause and other wellness clubs?
The connection part. Wellness clubs, they focus on the services, which is great classes, great recovery, but people just want to feel seen and heard. Being an entrepreneur in the wellness space, we have to respect everyone's emotions and what people are going through, but performance is key because at the end of the day, you're still a business. I've learned to trust more and delegate, but know what I need to look out for to make sure that the business is the way I hope and want it to be. Sometimes things are a bit uneasy or unclear. I will address it to my team. There's always a solution. There's always a way forward.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Wellsome. In today's episode, I have the pleasure to have with me in the studio, Sophiya. I'm so happy. Finally on Wellsome. I was looking forward to our episode so much. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you today?
I'm good. It's a Friday. It's
Yes.
a time to kind of reset for the weekend.
I
So
agree.
It's a good time to do this conversation.
I agree. So, Sophiya is the founder of Post Club, which is one of the most beautiful wellness clubs in Dubai, and they recently renovated, and it's an amazing space where you can really reconnect with your, I would say, with your spirit. You know, it's and I couldn't wait to actually ask you, how did you get into this amazing journey? Because you started many, many years ago. And also, I was curious to know your approach to wellness, which seems very holistic and very well integrated.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait actually to dive deep into it and also know a little bit how you are beautifully merge your you being a mom and you being an entrepreneur. So I cannot wait to ask you so many questions today.
Awesome.
I want to ask you first, so before opening Pause, what was your idea of wellness, and how have you decided to actually open Pause Club?
So there was never an idea of wellness because I think, so my sister and I started Pause together initially.
Yeah.
And I think it really stemmed from the way we grew up as a family. We're one of 4 kids, and our parents, we just had 2 rules in the house, which is discipline and working out. So discipline meaning sleep early, wake up with the sunrise, and work out every day. And for my parents, they were like, if you do that, then your life will be okay.
Which is so beautiful that they put this, you know, this concept in your mind from early stages of your life. That's amazing.
So my childhood, and I grew up in Sharjah. So we would wake up at 5 with our parents, go for a walk on the beach, and then do yoga with my dad.
That's so
and then go to school,
interesting.
and then we all play tennis in the evenings. So it was a very wholesome childhood, but also with my mom, it was always believing in the power of the body. So when we were sick, we were having like this blend of like onion and ginger and things like that.
Very natural.
And she would always say like the body has so much to heal that by itself. So I think it was just the philosophy of our family, to be honest. But it was during COVID when me and my sister were talking about, we had a Instagram page and we would talk about our mental health journey. So we were fortunate. We grew up with, you know, pretty much a really good life as a family, but we still went through our own mental health journeys. And we realized, being Indian, growing up in UAE, there's a stereotype to what being healthy means. Everyone looks at fitness of like, I need to look good and be physically fit. That means I'm healthy. But then you're also so lost. You can be the healthiest person and still the most lost or loneliest person. So for us, the philosophy of Pause was, we knew that health was more than just physical. Through our own journeys, through our family philosophy, there's so much power in the body, but you needed to be aware of the different aspects of it. So love, health, work, and play were the pillars for us, right? It's not just health. It's the relationships in your life. It's your purpose. It's also being a child again. And you're remembering to be free and remove ego. So Pause was kind of that, of how do we create a space where people don't feel like they need to be a certain thing. Come as you are, but know what makes you feel good.
Which is actually, it's so crazy because this is exactly what you feel when you enter. You feel like kind of like you don't there's no pressure of, performing a certain way.
Yeah.
You can come as you are. So I think in this, you made an incredible job because it's an energy at the end.
Yeah.
And I feel that when you enter, you truly feel it. Not all the places are like this. So I feel that this message was really, really well translated in everything. Coming back to the mental health part, which is something that I think now it's speeding up when it comes to like a topic related to wellness, because we just realized that, life is getting faster and faster, and there's a lot of pressure and a lot of like things that can happen than you wouldn't expect on a social level and political level. So how did you start realizing that mental health was a big component for you and your sister to look at? And did you actually had it? Did you started from your family, or this is something that you outgrown from your experience?
So specifically, the fact that I had to address mental health came from when I was in university, my third year of university.
And you did university here?
No, I studied in the US.
Okay.
So I was doing engineering. And so I love math and science. And so I was in my junior year of college, and one semester I started to fail every single test I did because I would blank out.
Yeah.
I would study. I knew everything.
Yeah.
But as soon as I would sit for an exam, I would just go blank, to the point where I failed every single exam that semester. And my mom actually, so I was telling my parents. It was also, I'm very grateful I had parents that I could open up to.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just going through this. And so I tried counseling a little bit. It wasn't working. So my mom was like, why don't you go to hypnotherapy? I saw this article.
Yeah.
And so why don't you give it a shot? I'm like, that's so like, why?
Woohoo.
Yeah. What is even hypnotherapy?
Yeah.
So she's like, what do you have to lose? Like you're already, you're failing your exams. You're not doing well. Something's wrong. Counseling isn't working. So just try it.
Yeah.
So I tried it, and he's a hypnotherapist, but also psychologist, the NLP practitioner. So through going to him, I did 10 sessions initially. The next semester, I got all A's and B's again.
Wow.
So for me, was like the power of, okay, actually, my thoughts are something I can control.
Yeah.
Understanding my limiting beliefs and things like that were things I never knew how to do or wasn't even aware of. And because of that, I started to look at my mental health differently. And that's why the importance of mental health for me.
There was something that was blocking you in achieving your goals, and in that case, your
grades? It was, for me, my limiting belief was I thought I was a failure, just like
interesting
in my head.
Yeah.
If I did something small that was wrong or,
yeah.
And so that would just like snowball into something bigger.
Would you actually recommend hypnotherapy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, for anxiety and for my panic attacks, it really helped me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the solution for everything mental health related, but it definitely helped me get out of that particular phase in my life. Yeah.
Interesting. So you started then opening a page and talk about mental health, which honestly in 2020 was still not that big of a thing.
Yeah.
So I think you did something that was kind of new in the wellness scene.
Yeah, and I think being casual about it as well.
Yeah.
We didn't, mental health is serious, but it's also like we were in our 20s. It's also like we have to deal with life and things that come with it. There's also funny moments. So me and my sister said we want to talk about mental health, but not make it in a sad or scary way. In a way that we're showing that we're dealing with it and learning from it and getting stronger.
Yeah.
I think the point was showing that you can be resilient out of it rather than saying I went through anxiety or I managed panic attacks and just having that as your label.
Yeah.
It's what are you doing about it to help yourself get out of the situation.
Yeah. And I think this is a way also to showcase that it makes people feel relieved because everyone is kind of like going through something.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a stigma anymore to say that you're struggling with mental health or you have kind of like tendency of anxiety or depression, because I feel that now it's something that you can at least speak about. You know?
I think it's It depends, because I've seen culturally, and I still have like within my own family, extended family, it's still very difficult for a lot of people to open up to the people closest to them.
Yeah.
So I think it takes a lot of courage if you're in that situation, but I do think people are more aware and want to try to be more okay about sharing what they're going through.
Yeah. And why have you decided to specifically open a wellness club? What was the process behind the practical project that you had in mind?
So because of our Instagram page, we had a nice online community, and we could see that we were really helping people. I think that...
Were you coaching, actually?
No. So we never came across as coaches. We're saying we're not experts. This is our own journeys, and we're learning ourselves. But just because we were open about what we're learning, we would just get questions. If there's anything more specific or that wasn't our area, like we couldn't give people advice.
Yeah.
Right?
But you were just showing.
Yeah, but I would ask my therapist, or I would connect them to someone, because it was more about the connection people felt to be able to figure things out themselves. And that's why even Pause the Space came about. It's that we realized people were missing connection, especially after COVID. Everyone was, isolated a lot more. It is important to have human connection.
Yes,
everything's
so important.
Yeah, and we were talking about it, me and my sister. Do we start with an app or something digital?
Yeah.
But really, for your well-being, and there's lots of research, social connect is so important. Yeah. So that's why we decided, let's have a space where people can actually come in and meet like-minded people.
Was it actually difficult at the beginning when it comes to, making this project, live? Did you face any issue at the beginning as an entrepreneur to make it happen?
A lot of challenges, I think. So I come from a family business, so I shadow my dad a lot. So he was our biggest mentor. He would help us.
That's
kind
amazing.
of, we put our business plan, we'd present it to him and my mom, and he'd kind of guide us. But at the same time, doing something from scratch on your own brought in so many challenges, because again, we were two 20-something-year-olds trying to build this. And so we relied on getting consultants first. How do we get someone who's... we knew we wanted a cafe and the wellness space, so we're like, let's get an F&B consultant first. See, how do we even find a space? How do you design a kitchen? How do you even, account for how many covers you need? What are the staffing you need? So we just relied on, let's find experts who have done something similar first and work with them.
So I know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs there are two types of entrepreneurs, especially on a startup level, that the first one who thinks that you don't need help, you have to do everything by yourself at the beginning. And another type, which I feel it's me, kind of, especially from my previous experience, that I'll do what I can do and I'll do what a founder has to do, which is kind of like hunting and harvesting and show up as the founder and trying to find new ideas and new opportunities. But when it comes to the executive parts where I am not that knowledgeable, I want to hire people. Of course, in the dimension of your budget, your investment. But which type of entrepreneur are you? Are you the one who wants to first learn and do everything by yourself, or do you believe in mentorship and support more?
100% the second.
The second, okay.
I don't think you can do it the first way, but I think you need to have that personality to be that way. I knew from the very beginning I'm not that type of person, but I know how to connect the dots, and me and my sister had a very strong vision. If it's funny, I was just looking at our first deck that we did. It's so similar to what we still want to do as a vision, but we both knew that we needed the professionals to put the execution together, because otherwise it would have taken much longer. And we would have made a lot more mistakes as well.
So two founders, two sisters. Who does what, and who's the executive, who's the creative? Like, how do you girls balance your roles?
So when we started, my sister, she's the creative force. She's a graphic designer. She knows how to storytell and do everything brand related. I'm more logic minded, so I would put the structure together, put the pieces, figure out what needs to be done on a strategy level. But at the same time, when we were building our first location, we were both kind of doing everything, approving everything. What happened was, for a year, I think that was working. And then we realized we needed our own spaces to work. So she would manage marketing and community. I would do the business side of it. And then I think 2 years ago now, my sister realized, and again, we were in our 20s, right? And this was her first job out of college, was starting a business.
Wow.
She realized she wanted to purely focus on design. So we had a discussion. You know, she loves pause, but in terms of her work, she wanted to build her own design studio. So that was not an easy time because, again, we're sisters and we love each other. Of course. But at the same time, we needed to figure out how does this business run when she also figured that her passion was design. So now I run the business completely. We had like a transition period, but she's still co-founder. But she has her own design thing.
That's
now.
Amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. And you said that Pause has been built from 4 pillars. What are the pillars again, and why those pillars? Tell me more about it.
I think it was why the pillars was to help people realize that they don't need to be seen like, if you're a Pilates girl, doesn't mean you're the wellness girl. You can be someone who doesn't necessarily have fitness as your identity, but you're very aware of your purpose. You're very aware of the relationships in your life. That means you're looking after yourself. The idea of the 4 pillars was there's no one size fits all to wellness. And so love is about your relationship with yourself, with the people around you, and environment. Health is about, it's not just about performance. It's also how you feel. It's also tapping into your intuition. Your aura can tell you you're sleeping really well, but sometimes you might wake up and you don't feel rested. And then work is about purpose. And we keep seeing this. My opinion is that even more with social media, people are so lost because we're all just trying to follow the trend, or, what are people actually seeing what's popular, rather than
we're very brainwashed
in a way. And we've forgotten what we really need, an individual. And play was that, is you can be creative only when you're connecting to your inner child, I think. Pure creativity, I mean, and working with your hands is important. So those are the pillars that helped us find our balance. So we wanted to that's the philosophy in how we design everything.
That's amazing. And Sophiya, you started with a location and you started with a concept, and then you girls expanded in a new location. Before it was Post Cafe, and then it became Post Club. How did you manage this transition? How did you approach the transition? Because actually it's a big step, because you went from like a location to a bigger location with multiple, concepts, the paddle court and the cafes and the spa. How did you make this big step, and how did you organize also your thoughts and your idea as a business owner to make it happen?
So the first Pause wasn't just a cafe, actually. Upstairs was a multifunctional space.
True.
So we did our matcha mornings, our deep dives, our workshops. And then in the evenings, we'd remove all the furniture and it would be a yoga and sound healing studio. And then we had one spa room. I think the vision was always the same, of having it feel like a club. But then our budget was only so much back then. And so we could only invest in the 4,000 square foot location.
Which was actually still a big location in my opinion for Dubai.
It was, and I'm so glad that's the step we took, because there was a lot of learnings even from that. But we realized we needed a bigger space for people to understand the vision. And like you said, a lot of people saw us as a cafe because the cafe was the main part of that space. So when the opportunity of this location came, for me, it was a no-brainer because it just, everything we had envisioned was kind of designed there for us.
Can I ask you about the location, which I invite everyone to go because it's one of, in my opinion, the most beautiful locations that you can find. Not in Dubai, but specifically in Jumeirah, which is so difficult. How did you have the opportunity to, have a look at this location and make it yours? Was it something more like, I don't want to say there was destiny played some kind of a role, but how did it happen?
Honestly, it was by chance because I had met the architect of this Pause Club to see if she could help do some renovation in Pause OG. And she was telling me about this project and how the owners wanted something very different to what's there in Dubai. And it looked, I was very curious about it when she was talking to me. So I asked her, can I come visit? Because it was just done, the space. It was just getting ready. So I went with my family, with my husband and my siblings and my mom, and walked through. And it was so stunning, the location, and it just felt like a pause. So I was dreaming. I love to dream, and I can visualize things really well.
Really?
So
That's
I could just see this happening, and then I shot my shot, basically. I'm like, I don't know if this will work or not, but let me just try. I met the owners, I spoke to them, they knew Pause, and so it all worked out. And so I'm really grateful. It wasn't the plan to go this big, to be honest. We were looking for another location, but nowhere in my mind was it this big.
It was meant to be, I would say.
And so it felt like I couldn't waste this opportunity.
And Sophiya, what is actually the side of business, especially as a wellness entrepreneur? Because I don't know if you agree with this, but especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're into wellness, people have this perception that you cannot have, let me pass the term, your shit together all the time, and you're this typical super zen, super calm person that manages it all because you're well into wellness, where actually I feel like we have to come back to realism and just say that it's normal to, handle things sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. So when it comes to wellness entrepreneurship, what is the side of entrepreneurship that people don't see, but they might assume?
I think being an entrepreneur in the wellness space, one thing I think people assume is that because we're looking at well-being of people, that means performance isn't important within the business, I mean. And where I'm a person where, one, we have to respect everyone's emotions and what people are going through, but performance is key because at the end of the day, you're still a business. You still have to make money or make ends meet to be able to afford salaries and your consumables and everything. So initially, I found it hard to be strict on that because I'm like, how can I push people? Because we're supposed to be about wellness. And then I learned how to balance it. So culture is extremely, extremely important. I think even more so because we're in the wellness space. But for me, that's the underlying foundation. But that doesn't mean that performance isn't important. And so the team have to be also respectful of that.
Absolutely. So I guess that it was a journey even for you to integrate both. I would say the entrepreneurship strong part that pulls everything, and then the more, I would say, holistic and,
Yeah, and I think also being a woman and accepting that the way I lead is not, and I've always seen my dad. In my head, I'm like, maybe I need to be more masculine in my approach. That's the way people will listen to me. But that didn't feel like me. So learning my own style of leadership, because to be honest, you can only learn it on the job. You can't say this is my style and this is how I'll be.
What is actually your style of leadership as a female entrepreneur in Dubai?
I think I own that I don't know what I'm doing sometimes.
Interesting.
I don't like to put on... Again, as the leader, you always have to be the one who has the clarity of what's going to happen next, what's going forward. But sometimes, again, I'm not someone who can put on that face. So if things are a bit uneasy or unclear, I will address it to my team saying, right now, I'm not sure what the next step is, but we're figuring it out. And having confidence in that. I'm someone who believes that there's always a solution or there's always a way forward. So I believe in that. And I think that helps the team. But I don't say, oh, I know what's going to happen. Don't worry, guys.
You don't sell like a fake dream. You're just honest and you just reassure them it's going to be fine. But the way you're going to be fine, you're still in progress.
And it's work in progress. And I own it.
And as a woman, you said something that I think is very interesting and powerful, is that at the beginning you were trying to see your dad as an example because he's, I guess, a leader himself. And then you were trying to adapt and just see how you could have, done the same. But then you realize that you have your own style, which is very connected to your also feminine energy. So as a female entrepreneur, again, what's the difference in your opinion between like leading as a man and leading as a woman?
I would say, I think, especially after becoming a mother now, like 8 months ago, what I've learned is being okay with not being there all the time. And I remember this very clearly. One of my dad's points to me when I started working or when we started Pause was, you need to be there 16 hours a day. You need to drive everything and be on top of every single, operation going on. And
control,
and initially I was that person. I think especially after having a child, I've learned to trust more and delegate, but know what I need to look out for to make sure that the business is the way I hope and want it to be. So I think tapping into trust rather than trying to monitor every single person or thing happening on the team is a shift that I'm going through myself because I've had to. Because for me, I want to prioritize my baby also.
Of course.
So again, work in progress.
Work in progress.
But at the same time, I'm learning to be okay not being there 10 hours a day, but going for 3-4 hours, doing really efficient work there, but going home, being able to work from home, but also have my baby around. So.
First of all, you told me that your baby is 8 months old. Congratulations for your amazing princess. And what's her name?
Nuri.
I love that. And what did you learn from motherhood that you shifted into your business?
What did I learn from motherhood? I've learned motherhood is wild.
I imagine.
It's a whole identity shift. So I think running my business has actually helped me in motherhood because of the uncertainty that I'm going through with just new things, having to like figure out what to do with this baby, or now she can walk, now what? How do you make her crawl? I think just being okay with uncertainty, but also believing in yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're still a mother, you still have the responsibility. So you can't just say, okay, I can't deal with this right now. I need my space. I think learning to expand my bandwidth has been my biggest learning from motherhood.
So you think that also your business and the structure that you've built from the business has helped you with motherhood.
Or what business teaches you, right? Because again, even with business, you don't know what's coming next. Something can happen that you need to deal with. But you still have to go through it. It's similar in motherhood. It's just that it's a lot more emotional in motherhood. And a lot more hormonal as well. But I think because I've dealt with some version of that before, it wasn't a shock to me. So I think I was able to manage my emotions better because of that.
And I'm sure there are so many women listening to us that they have babies and they have work, and sometimes they feel like they're trying to balance those two worlds together. They're trying to manage their time. They're trying their best. How did you find your balance? And do you have like a specific schedule? How did you find literally, the balance between being a mother and being present, but also not forgetting that you have a business to run.
So what I think I did well during my pregnancy was the idea of delegation, right? So before in our first location, I knew everyone on the team, and I knew what everyone was working on, because again, we were all there in one smaller space. I understood as soon as we signed the new place that even with motherhood coming along, it would be very difficult to manage it the same way.
Because it was simultaneously, actually.
I gave birth August 31st, and end of October is when we fully opened Pause Club.
Wow, what a huge step.
Yeah. And so I knew I had to, again, trust. So I put a lot of effort in finding the right team and putting that structure in place. And so that when I gave birth, we were still in the middle of getting Pause Club ready, but I trusted the team because I knew I had a good team. And my head of operations, Guy, who runs all of our operations now, he joined a few months before I got pregnant.
Wow.
And we have a really good relationship. So I know how he runs things, and he updates me on everything. So it's a very different way of how I used to operate. But during my pregnancy, I really made sure that I switched that mindset of like, this is how I think I'm going to have to run the business.
I love the fact that you truly believe in finding the right people and create the environment so you can still lead them, but with trust, which I think is also very difficult as an entrepreneur sometimes, to just surrender and let go and trust the person. I personally found it very difficult at the beginning of my journey. So I love that actually you were able to create a community also when it comes to your business that you trust, but still you can manage to communicate and
And I think the only reason I can say that confidently is because I was kind of forced to do it with my pregnancy, right? I knew I couldn't manage the way I used to, but that was also for me a big learning. And showing now that it's possible to run a business this way. And the other thing happened actually, because my fear was actually not, will the team do things the way I would like it to? It was more of, will the team forget my value into the business? Because I'm like, if I'm not there driving every single thing, will I be seen less of a leader? Was my insecurity. And so that was something I had to go through and figure out as well.
Sophiya, did you struggle with some maybe mental issues or ups and downs mentally during your pregnancy?
Not really during my pregnancy. I think around 3 months after giving birth, between 3 and 4 months of when Nuri was a baby, I got to a point where there comes a point where, because your baby depends on you 100%, right? And I was exclusively breastfeeding too. So the fact that my body was not really for me right now, but it was for someone else, and I couldn't make the time to do anything for myself, it got to me. And I was like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what my identity is. And I had to kind of accept it. Even to my husband, I'm like, I feel like I'm just here to be a vessel for my baby. And the good thing is I was aware of what I was going through. So it wasn't like I wouldn't say I was drowning in it, but I knew I had to figure out
to shift it.
A way of getting out of it.
Because I know that many women, they experience kind of like some ups and downs when it comes to either during the pregnancy or after the pregnancy, which is also more common. So as it's
the largest hormone crash
really
a human goes through after giving birth. So you literally, it is, when I say wild, it's wild, but it's beautiful at the same time. And I think mindset plays a big role as much as you can.
Yeah, because you told me also that, I mean, you started with this. You started with a very big awareness when it comes to mental health. So that's why I wanted to ask you, because I'm sure that maybe you dealt with something similar, but because you were equipped enough to just recognize it and going through, to also spread the message to other moms that this is something normal, but this is something you also can overcome.
And I think having people around you to talk to.
Yeah.
Having your village is important if you can have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, coming back to your management, how did you manage it all? Like, give me like an idea of your schedule during the day.
So this month it's changed quite a bit, but
Yeah.
up till now, so I think within 3 weeks after giving birth, I was at home. So for 40 days in my family, traditionally, the mom doesn't leave the house and you're taken care of. The mom and baby get like massages, good food.
Yeah.
So there's like a protocol essentially.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I was at home, but Pause Club was opening. So I would ask my team to come home once a week.
Yeah.
So the main core team would come over and present to me what's happening and we'd discuss it.
Yeah.
In between, I'd go feed Nuri and then come
Yeah.
back. So until I think a month ago, I was mostly working from home and I would just go to Pause when I absolutely needed to. And I would take the baby with me.
Yeah.
She came with me everywhere.
Yeah.
Luckily, she's good in the car.
Yes.
But then a month ago, I realized I needed more structure. So even for me, I'm a structured person, but I was okay to not have a structure because I think that's what my phase in life needed.
Yeah.
So from last month, I said, okay, I think she's grown up enough now. I can leave her for a few hours.
Yeah.
And so now between like 12 and 4, I'll do my meetings at Pause and then I'll come home quickly.
Yeah.
Sometimes she'll still come with me.
Yeah.
But it's still, I think every month I kind of analyze like, what can I do? What can I not do?
So I feel that maybe you as a person that you're thriving with structure. I think everyone kind of like thrive with structure, but you still allow, yourself to say, okay, let me shift this. So you're not very fixating in following a structure.
I think this phase of my life, I cannot.
Yeah.
And usually pre-pregnancy, if I had a goal, like if I'm like, I need to work out 4 times a week and I love tennis, I would make sure I was up at 6 and playing tennis. This year, since I gave birth, it's been impossible for me to be that hard, like that disciplined, which for me, my whole life was about discipline, right? I had to just let go of discipline for a bit.
Yeah.
And now I'm slowly learning to reinstill it back. It's not easy because I'm so used to now just my mind taking over and saying, okay, I just want to stay home with my baby.
Yeah.
But I'm now putting that discipline back into my life. Slowly.
Yeah. You said at the beginning that you were a very disciplined, would say, child. And your parents gave you like some structure, especially when it comes to workout, when it comes to get up early, which I found it beautiful. How much of a role did discipline played in your life? Because I do believe that if you really want to be an entrepreneur and if you want to follow a specific path and reach specific goals, of course, life comes in between, but I think discipline is it's very important. And also me, sometimes I'm struggling with discipline still. There are moments where I'm completely out of track, but there are moments where if I follow my discipline, if I follow my day, my structure, I feel my best. I wanna know how discipline and time played the role for you.
I mean, I think discipline is huge. Having a routine is the simplest thing to do, but the hardest thing to do, in my opinion. But it pays off when you have a routine. And I felt it in my childhood when I was training for tennis, but even getting out of depression, the only reason I did was the routine that I had and the hand holding. You know, I had my parents, my siblings, my now husband helping me make sure I'm accountable. So it's just, I would say post motherhood, that was really like impossible in my situation to maintain. But that's why I'm trying so hard to get back to it, because I know that long term
it will serve you and gives
I need to have a routine. Even for my daughter, she needs to be able to see someone who has a routine and seeing how that benefits, right? So that's what I'm hoping to instill the same.
Absolutely.
With raising.
Would you do something different during your journey as an entrepreneur? Is there something that maybe like a lesson that you've learned that you said, of course, we all agree the lessons are there for a reason, but if there's something that you said, okay, I've learned from it and next time I wouldn't do it?
Ooh. I think one thing I wish I did a bit more clearly was, again, I'm good at visualizing, but actually putting the plan on paper so that with hiring, especially initially, I'll admit it, I think we made a lot of hiring mistakes.
Yeah.
Finding the right people, the right personality, because you're just so excited to
Yes.
start and get going.
Yeah.
I think understanding that you need to interview a lot better to get the right person, because I feel like I could have avoided a lot of challenges that came with that.
And it's interesting because you told me that now you have a great team, and because of you have a great team, you can actually surrender and trust them and lead them from a place of trust and not from a place of over control.
Yeah.
And again, I assume that you learned this throughout your journey by also, maybe hiring people that you at the beginning you said, oh, what did I do?
Yeah. And that's when I knew I had a good team, because initially that's how I was managing.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't trust the person that I would make sure I knew everything.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if that person understood what really I needed.
Yeah.
But as soon as, with this current team, like just intuitively, I felt like I could trust, and I don't have to look at every single detail. Unless for me it's really important. So
yeah.
But I think you can only go through it. I don't think you can really avoid.
No, it's experience at the end.
Yeah.
What makes Pause actually the best wellness club in Dubai? What's the difference between Pause and other wellness clubs in your opinion?
I think it's the connection part.
Yeah.
Wellness clubs, in my opinion, a lot of spaces all over the world that I've seen, they focus on the services, which is great classes, great, recovery, great paddle.
Yeah.
But I think people would just want to feel seen and heard more and more. And I mean, for me, with our team as well, I want to make sure that that's what people walk away saying, that, Pause, the energy there is different than other clubs. I don't necessarily need people to say we have the best strength class or the best reformer.
Yeah.
We have really good classes. But for me, what makes my days when people say that, your team is great. They know my name, or they know my coffee order. Or someone actually just recently told me they're 40 years old. They've never actually had a workout routine, but because of Pause and the way the environment is, they've been coming for the last 6 months regularly for their reformer classes.
Nice.
So for me, that, again, the environment makes such a big difference for your well-being and helps you with your routine.
Yeah.
And
how did you build that? Because me as a person, when it comes to Pause clubs, I feel it. Like what you said, I feel it. I think one of your biggest, potential and one of your biggest strengths is actually community.
Yeah.
How did you practically build that?
I think it was just the culture in which we started, right? We started with wanting to make people feel connection.
So the intention then helped to build the energy.
Yeah, for us with Pause, what we do is community first, and then how do we perfect the services? It's how do we make sure the programming and the team know how to manage our community, and then how do we have the best classes, the best paddle facilities, the best spa. And so I think because that's the focus, it's not an add-on.
Yeah.
It's not saying, okay, we have classes, let's do something community related now. It's been the core because I genuinely want people to feel that in Pause.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sophiya, last question for you. What do you wish for yourself as an entrepreneur, and what do you wish for yourself as a mom? What's your next, I would say, goal, but also something that you want to either achieve or embrace?
I think with my entrepreneur lens, I wish to always have this level of excitement for the business. Honestly, with what we do, I'm so excited to grow this business, and there's so many plans. And I know we'll get there, but I hope that this excitement never fades.
Yeah.
Even
Which is something that entrepreneurs faces sometimes.
Yeah.
Lack of like, you have moments where you're not that excited.
Yeah.
You have to find your spark again.
Yeah. And I know there will be challenges and things and ups and downs.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I don't want like that to go.
Yeah.
But I hope that this excitement that I have, I get to maintain.
Yeah.
As a mother, I hope I get to always enjoy the beauty of it. I know people tell me that every phase is very different.
Yeah.
But I wish for myself to have the presence to be able to enjoy the beauty of motherhood.
Is there something that you would like to say to our mothers out in our community? Some like a message that you learn from your experience?
I think that for me, the strongest thing is trust in yourself. Mm-hmm. And as tough as it is, I think women are superwomen.
We are.
Honestly.
We are.
And going through it now, like the capability that we have, doesn't matter what work you do or if you're an entrepreneur, just the capability you need to be a mom.
Yeah.
That in itself is incredible. So for me, own that.
Own that.
Yeah.
Sophiya, thank you so much for being with us. What's such a wholesome interview.
Thank you.
And where can people find you? And where can people actually find Post Club on social media?
Well, if you Pause Club on Instagram is where we do all of our programming. All of our information is there. You can find me on my personal Instagram is Self Wellness.
Yeah.
I'm at Pause almost every day now, so
you
can reach out.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us again.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much for being with us. And if you have any question for Sophiya, please comment down below. Do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.